Well, good afternoon. I'm Dave Thompson. I am the director of the Academy of Cleaning Excellence. We're live this afternoon. It's September the 15th, 2017. I can't believe we've made it this far in the year. Okay, so you've been with me before. If you haven't been, there's three words which I focus on each and every Friday afternoon: healthy, positive, and proactive. Now, today my guest, you can see, is sitting here with me, but we're going to talk about what is new in the marketplace when it comes down to cleaning product distribution, how progressive ones can position themselves for success in the future. You know, there's a lot of different distributors out there. There's innovative ones who truly offer valuable services, and they're exactly the type of companies that end user customers really want to deal with. You know, here at the Academy, we know that partnerships are the key, and that is what you and I are going to talk about. So, folks, let's welcome Dan Wagner.
Thank you very much, Dave.
No, Dan's from the Windy City.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, okay. Well, we won't get started on the Cubs.
Home of the World Series championship.
Yeah, well, I knew you'd like that start. Okay. So anyway, Dan, our audience probably needs to know who you are and why you're an authority.
Oh, sure. Well, I currently serve as the Director for Strategic Accounts and Services for Triple S. Triple S is a nationwide distribution network representing 120 or so of the most passionate companies in the sanitary supply industry. Prior to joining the Triple S family, I spent 17 years with ISSA, the Worldwide Cleaning Industry Association.
That's how Dan and I know each other.
That's exactly right. At first, I served as the association's manager of regulatory compliance, and later as the director of facility services. And it was in this latter role that I built and managed programs like the Cleaning Industry Management Standard, or CIMS, and the CIMS Green Building Program, as well as the Cleaning Industry Training Standard, or CITS, and many, many others.
Well, and the CITS program is what I'm really involved with because it's all about education.
Yep, that's right.
So that's why we joined in with the CITS program. It's being rebranded, so if you're looking for the CITS right now, it's probably being rebranded. So we're not going to get in on that one. But, you know, we've crossed paths many times at different ISSA shows.
Yes, we have.
You doing what you do and me trying to do education. But I think the one thing we both noticed is that the landscape for distributors has changed. But the distributors haven't changed with it.
That's, well, to a certain extent you're correct, but I mean, when we really take a look at what has happened in the industry over the last 20 years. I mean, I think back to when I first started at ISSA back in 1999, and in many respects, the industry is almost unrecognizable today to what it was back then. I mean,
absolutely.
You know, I remember when they used to say, oh my goodness, there's 19,000 independent Jansan distributorships in the United States. And today, what's the number? I've seen it, it's 5,000. I've seen it as low as 3,500. Yet, however, at the same time, you've got all kinds of new, you know, they like to call themselves disruptors coming into our industry. All different kind of new players, whether it's office supplies distributors, whether it's industrial distributors, the Grangers of the world, all these different companies.
And that's what we're talking about. The landscape has changed because now we've got, and then along came the internet right along that same time.
The internet, and that's key. That's really, you know, not only an organization like Amazon, who now has launched Amazon Supply, but when you think about the internet as a whole, you're really you're talking about a tool that enables the customer to find information a lot easier.
Well, yeah, we had to step up our game. You know, you couldn't be, you know, that was a time that I was a sales rep for a distributorship, you know, 30 years doing that. And I can guarantee you, as the internet came in, as the disruptors came in, we had to know that, you know what? Hey, I was actually doing a demonstration, and the client was on the other side of the wall checking the internet to check and see if I was right.
That's right. That's exactly.
We didn't have that before. That's the way the landscape changed.
Yep. They can do all the research themselves. Heck, on their cellular phone, right, or their their mobile devices, their iPads, and everything like that. They know going in, and that's really a key. And what that necessitates is that today's Jansan distributor come with a whole new array of knowledge. And knowledge is obviously a really big word with you.
Yeah,
but that's really the key. I mean, in order for us to, as Jansan distributors, to demonstrate that we are the true experts in the industry, we have to take our knowledge to the next level.
Well, and that's where I continue to say that change is the only constant. You know, and that was what I was experiencing as a distributor rep. I'm experiencing that now here, and that's why we have the academy, because things are changing. We have to have a different delivery method. And, what happened to me was a little bit before that came in, the client came to me and said, I think you need to change some things because I think that you're using this fact that you say you have 20 years of experience. And you really are using only 1 year of experience 20 different times. So he gave me this little book called Who Moved My Cheese? Well, I guarantee you what, that client moved my cheese, and when the internet and the disruptors came in, here my cheese moved again. But whenever you're talking about this, I still think that there's a lot of distributors out there that even with all of that, haven't got it when it comes to education and training. They still haven't figured out that the cheese has moved.
It's true, but I think it's let's take a look at the history of the Janssen distributor. In many respects, they were able to work in anonymity. Correct? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't an attractive proposition to sell toilet paper. It
probably
that's
still never
reality.
has.
Okay, and maybe that's still true today. However, what happened was a lot of companies that were out there selling whatever they were selling, they didn't see how amazing our industry is.
Well, how important we are.
How important we are. The impact that we have on human health, the impact that we have on productivity in the workplace, the key role we play in sustainability, and all these different things. Now, that's being better understood as we're getting more and more information on a daily basis. So now let's take a look and go back to the traditional Janssen distributor. It's natural for them to react with trepidation and to a certain extent with some fear. I mean,
right. I mean, the thing about it is they know now that when they're sitting there doing things that people are checking them. And so over the last 10 years, the progressive ones have changed. And, the audience out here, they know this. So they're looking for that. They're looking for these people. And is there another level of it now?
I think there is another level of it right now, especially with e-commerce and the Amazon supplies of the world and all those folks coming into play. But the real key is something that you certainly know and that I recognize as well is that anytime there are changes, they present opportunity.
Changes and opportunity.
That's exactly
It's just
right.
A different word, a different disguise.
And all it really means is that the traditional Janssen distributor needs to adapt to the current marketplace and figure out a way to say, how can I leverage what's happening right now? How can I take advantage of these opportunities to change who I am and to better serve the customer? Because not only is it possible to do it, it is necessary to do it. And it's something that when we band together as an industry, we can have great success because we've seen it happen in certain areas.
But I think the key thing you just said is if we band together. And I think that's the thing is the smaller that this group of independent distributors get, the more that we have to join together as independent distributors and start talking the same language, start having a basis of conversation between us, or this is going to continue to decline even further because we can't survive by ourselves anymore.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. And the number one thing that the independent Janssen distributor can do is they can start to embrace what has traditionally been known as value-added services. Now, I know that it
Don't get me started on
makes
that
you a little
one.
uncomfortable to say value-added services, but the truth is, when we look at value is defined on both sides of the equation, right? Value is defined by whomever is providing the service. It's also defined by whomever is receiving the service.
But it also has to be realized. And one thing is to define it, but the two parties have to also realize the value on both. It's one thing to say I have it and define it. It's another, in my viewpoint anyway, Dan, is to realize that I actually placed a value on it. It's one thing to say it.
Correct. No, you're 100% correct. And that's why what's the old cliche, nothing in this world is free, correct?
We talked about this before.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. But when we think of all the different things that the Janssen distributor can do, that Amazon Supply is not going to do. They have no interest in doing these things.
Right. Right.
Obviously, the number one thing is education. Okay, call it education, call it knowledge, call it training, call it whatever we're going to call it, to make sure that their customer is prepared to deliver a healthy, clean indoor environment through effective cleaning services is number one. But
Correct.
they also have the opportunity to do things like facility assessments, to help with management operations, to help with all these different things. At the end of the day, if there's one lesson that I think everybody needs to fully understand, it is that no longer can an independent Jansan distributor be a cleaning supplier. They have to be a true partner. They have to position themselves to work directly with their customer, right? With the end user, in order to say, you know what, we're in this together. What is our ultimate goal? To deliver, once again, a healthy, clean, safe indoor environment. And we have to be partners in this respect.
And whenever you're saying this, Dan, there's one word that keeps coming back to my mind. We have to move from, as distributors anyway, we as an industry have to move away from selling and distributing to actually true consulting.
Correct.
True
Absolutely.
consulting.
Yep.
I mean, because consulting is not worrying about the sale of an item. Consulting is, well, I guess I say this. With education, I don't look at myself as a teacher as much as I look at myself as a coach. And I think that's what the Academy is trying to do, why we term this show Beyond Clean. There's more to this, and it's adding the value to that, and everybody looking for and adding that value. And you're talking, as you said, the workloading, the facility management, how we go about this. It's articulating the value that we put on ourselves. I continue to say this. I don't know if you agree with me, but we've created some of our own problem.
That's true. No, I do agree with you on that in that respect.
We haven't added the value to it. And so when you say value added, I'm like, I got to realize the value of what I have. I've said this for years. We're giving away, maybe up until maybe the last 5 years, we've been giving away the most valuable resource that we possess, our knowledge.
That's right. Yep.
Because we commoditize the product so much that, we're losing our margins, we're losing the value. And so it's how we use those. Why am I using certain things in certain programs? And that's consulting.
That's right. And effective consulting will naturally lead to sales of product, because the one thing that the Jansan distributors should really seek to do as they seek to become this partner is to almost bundle the knowledge along with the products. There's a great opportunity to be able to do that.
Well, and the training, for me, and we've talked about this, Dan, the thing is education is what's between my ears. Training is how to implement what I know.
That's right.
And so, that's the hands-on. And that's what the Jansan distributor brings. The Jansan distributor organization knows how to make it work.
Right.
That's what we do the best as a distributor. And that's why here at the Academy, we're talking about let us be your partner with the education and you do the training.
That's right. And that's what's crucial. I mean, when, look, everybody talks about the importance of education and training in our industry.
I hear it all the time.
Everybody knows, hey, look, and if you ask most Jansan distributors, are you providing training? Their answer is going to be yes. However, what's the reality? And it's also true in the end user market, not to criticize any end users. But
no. And we're not being critical of either one.
In no way, shape, or form. I mean, you go around to building service contractors or BSCs and you say, do you train your cleaning service workers, your cleaning service professionals?
Right.
The answer is always going to be yes. Yet, however,
let's take a look.
You've seen the same things I've seen. I mean, I always famously tell the story about a former colleague of mine at ISSA who once managed a cleaning service, and he jokes. It doesn't really joke because it's a true story, but he giggles today about seeing a nice young lady who was vacuuming the floor, and he came in to observe what she was doing, and she was smiling. She was so excited to see him there.
Uh-huh.
And he watched her for about 30 seconds before he walked over and took the cord and plugged the vacuum cleaner into the wall.
I've heard the story many different ways, and it happens all the time.
It does. It really does. Or just, when you're in the cleaning industry, of course, you live your life in a different manner when you're in public spaces. I mean, I'm certainly, when I go to parties with my good friends in the Chicagoland area to celebrate the Cubs World Series championship,
right,
of
sure.
course, and there's nobody else in the room who is in our industry.
Correct.
I certainly am the only person who is watching out of the corner of my eye, the custodial worker doing his or her job. We're in the airport. We can't stop ourselves.
We can't
right?
stop. I mean, I go to the restroom and I go by the water closet and I can't stop but take a picture of the water closet.
Exactly.
With a hot water heater that's got everything on it and the mop bucket.
My children think I'm nuts. Okay.
Well, let's not tell all of those horror stories. But this is where we really look at this and we go, wow, this is scary.
It is scary.
It's really scary that we as an industry, and I include myself because I've been in this industry 45 years. I'm not saying you've been doing it that long, but
not quite that long.
But the thing about it is we've done a lot of this to ourselves. We're the ones that have to correct it.
But as we sit here today, September 15th, 2017, we're at a crossroads. We have to change. We have to embrace education. We have to embrace this concept of consultative partnerships. We have to change who we are if we are going to survive in the future. And I don't want to be an alarmist, but it's true. Now, everybody recognizes the need for education, for training, and these types of things, but do they fully understand the true impact in order to be able to speak to their customers, in order to be able to speak to the folks that are controlling the purse strings, to understand what we call the true power of clean, right? What the real impact of cleaning is on things like public health.
Correct.
Okay, on safety in the workplace.
Absolutely.
Safety not only of the facility occupant, but of the actual cleaning service professional with whom it starts.
That's the big thing that we're involved with here at the Academy is this is about, and this is our goal. Everybody has to have a goal, and this is where education comes to play for us, is that frontline technician, that one that is the root, is the basis of this whole program. I don't care where you are in the country or in the world as far as that goes. We're all still dealing with taking care of public health.
That's right.
And if that frontline worker isn't aware, doesn't have the knowledge of what the impact they have, we're not helping anybody.
That's correct.
So the thing that we're trying to get across is this is knowledge, this is education, this is about people.
That's right. And the message needs to permeate throughout the cleaning industry, but also into the facility management industry, into the procurement space, in order that they understand that there are very real risks associated with cutting that budget. And with, when I was with ISSA, we used to always say cleaning is properly treated as an investment rather than a cost to be minimized. And truer words could not be spoken. But the most important thing, Dave, and I'd say the number one message that needs to be shared is that the opportunity exists. Now is not the time, despite all the changes in the industry, despite everything that's happened, all these new disruptors. Now is not the time to run and hide. Now is not the time.
No, I'm not hiding.
Go home.
I'm not hiding. Man. I'm right up here.
Now is the time to embrace the change and to say, we are going to be part of this innovative future. We are going to be amongst the leaders who are going to take our industry into the future, take our industry to the next level, because it is up to us, it is our responsibility to deliver, and I'm going to say it again, a healthy, clean, safe, sustainable indoor environment for the facilities.
Well, you heard it right here, right out of Dan Wagner's mouth. Hey, everything I own, we called the show Beyond Clean, and it really is. This is about adding value to, maybe, today the audience, there's some people that are in the cleaning industry. Maybe you're not. Maybe what you are that frontline worker. What we want to do is we're saying there is a value in everything we do. Right. We, as an industry, have to articulate this because you know what? As long as I've been doing this, there's always those people that look down their nose. I was sitting at a dinner with some 4-star generals. And we're going around the table telling who they are and everything, and they come to me. Yeah, I'm in my suit and they're tied and everything. And they're expecting something other than, at that time I sell toilet paper and I'm a janitor. And it's like they kind of looked at me for a minute and go, and it was one of the general's wives that said, everybody's got to have it. But this is about what we get. If we don't articulate our value to the public, to the general public out there, this is. Well, we're going to get what we give. That's right.
As you know, I'm professionally trained as a lawyer.
Uh-oh.
Right? And so people always say to me, they say, you went to law school and now you ended up in the cleaning industry? And I said, you know what? There's no place I'd rather be.
Really?
There's no place I'd rather be.
You know what?
Because of the opportunity that we have, and because we do make a true difference. We really do. In all those different pieces of the puzzle.
You know what I think I like about what we're doing? We're both fired up about where we're going.
That's right.
You know, and I think that's the thing is what we have to understand is it doesn't matter what part of the cleaning industry you're in, folks. We need to be fired up about what we're doing. I'm not ready to quit. I'm just getting going.
That's right. You can't teach passion, correct? So, but it's the most important thing we can do in order to protect our future and to move our industry ahead.
I think we've already covered the final words, haven't we? or is there a last final word?
The last final word is really that, you know, like I said, I was professionally trained as a lawyer. I practiced law for 2 years. Never in a million years thought that I would take a job with, at the time it was the International Sanitary Supply Association.
Right,
and it's
right.
funny you talk about your dinner with your 4-star generals and you know, when it came around to you having to describe what you do. I remember friends of mine asking me at first when I had got my new job saying, you know, who is it you're working for and what are you doing? And I was a little sheepish about admitting that.
Really?
But as I stand up here today, I've gone through the learning process of understanding the importance of our industry, the true power of clean.
Oh, yeah.
And the opportunity that we truly have to make a difference in the everyday lives of people.
Yeah.
There is no higher calling than helping people.
You know, I love what I do, but you know, now that I've moved totally into education, which, you know, we were talking about change. You know, 8 months ago I was still selling product and now I only can focus on education. And I think one of the best things out of this is when I see that frontline worker that has come to class, hasn't taken a test in 20 years or 30 years, takes the exams, passes the course, gets a certificate, and smiles and walks out proud.
Pride, right?
They walk
Pride.
out proud.
That's exactly right.
They
That's
have
exactly
information.
right.
They have knowledge. They feel like they're empowered. And
right.
every week we get to do that here at the Academy. And this is what I'm excited about is being able to touch every one of those personal lives. I don't know how many people I've touched over the years, but that's where I've grown from where I started to being able to impart the knowledge. And at the Academy, this is what we do every day.
That's exactly right. So final words, go cleaning industry and go Cubs.
Okay, well, hey, I got a few final words of my own, folks. You know, the Academy now has 5 campuses. We're going nationwide. You can go to the academyofcleaning.com. At that website, you can find our live classes. We have online classes. And you know what? There's even a tab for our master certification cruise to the Bahamas. You don't want to miss this. You talk about thinking outside the box and doing things different. I don't know. We're the leaders. Okay. So anyway, check out our Facebook page. You know, social media, like and share our page. We really love that. If you're not a Facebooker, then we're on LinkedIn for those entrepreneurs that want to keep up with what's going on. We have a great LinkedIn page. We post what's coming up on our show every week, other things that we're doing. So I guess until next Friday afternoon, live right here at 1 p.m. from Orlando, I'm Dave Thompson. Keep changing your future. Keep those changes healthy, positive, and proactive. And remember my mantra, I am a janitor and I save lives. Thanks for watching. Come on back next week.
Thank you very much.